So I met Russ Westfall 10 years ago, and that was the first time I was ever on a cutting. I didn't even know what a cutting horse was. I figured God's busy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to take a chance that I could have a third go at this thing. I'm very happy he gave me 2 shots. I haven't had a drink, a drug, nothing in 41 years. 41 years, April 8th it'll be. There are these moments that happen, you know, and especially when I was coming up and first starting a show, I would be in a later show and one of you open riders would come by and go, "Hey, Joe, you know, at that last show, that second set, the roan horse you were on, that third cow, you're looking like you're getting it." And I'm thinking, how could you, you guys work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're all over the place. You must have seen a million horses. And I was like, I got to buckle down here. Like, this is a real gift. This is a real gift.
Well, guys, welcome this week to the 817 podcast. I am excited to bring y'all Mr. Joey Jingoli this week. Joey, how in the world are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm great. It's I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me. And we're having a lot of fun. We got the show in town and
right in the middle, actually, of y'all's class. Literally, You've been showing the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Here at the Super Stakes.
Having amazing time.
I was about to say you've had some success already, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, had a couple of good runs, and I'm watching the bubble right now real close. So,
well, the one I'm thinking of, you're not going to need to watch the bubble on the roan gelding.
Yeah.
That was a good run.
That run went well. I listened to Russ on that run. Then the last one I had, I wasn't really listening to him. I had a lot of fun, but he told me afterwards, he said, "We're not here to have fun. We're here to win." I was like, okay.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
Russ.
sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you said you was going a little faster than they wanted you to go.
All I heard was Russ yelling, "Slow down," and Brandon yelling, "Slow down." And I'm thinking, I'm having so much fun here. Why would I ever slow down?
Well, I tell you what, you're in the right barn. Because listen, if Brandon and Russ are telling you to slow down, you probably need to slow down, Joey.
You're going. I got scolded afterwards.
You did?
Oh, yeah, Russ. We're here to win. We're not here to have fun. I was like, okay.
Well, I tell you what, they definitely know about winning.
Yeah.
They're hard to get around, them two.
Yeah.
That whole family, really.
That's why I'm here. That's how I got in the cutting.
So let's talk about that. You obviously, how long have you been involved in cutting horses?
So I met Russ Westfall 10 years ago, and that was the first time I was ever on a cutting. I didn't even know what a cutting horse was. I grew up in New Jersey, and a friend of my dad's was born in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like Joe Perone would have been a cowboy, and so he used to drive out to Ohio and pick up horses and bring them back, and I used to watch him get kicked and bucked off, and he, the extent of him teaching me how to ride as a young man, and look, I was wild anyway, I was wild, and was get on the back and kick him and hold on. So that was my training of how to ride a horse, which fit for most of my life at that point. And a friend of mine years and years later, a friend of mine, David Anderson, who's one of the Canadian cutters. We know a bunch of those guys. They're all great horsemen.
Absolutely.
And we met through business. And he said, would you like to try riding a cutting horse? And at that point in time, I really wanted, there was so much to learn. And I had found some people to teach me how to ride. So Sandy Collier and Mary Dosick. Yes. Out in Santa Ynez. So I was living in New Jersey, and every time I got a vacation, I would fly out there and just stay on the ranch. And for whether it was a week or 2 weeks or whatever it was, and I would just in bed and everything. I was like, oh my God, there's so much to learn, right? And then I met David Anderson through business, and he said, I have a really good friend of mine, Russ Westfall, out there. I've been riding with him for long. You want to try riding a cutting horse? Sure. So we flew out, and Russ, I met Russ, and he put me on, Roy, the turnback horse?
Oh, yes, sir.
That was John Rocky's horse.
Yes, sir. Time. Yeah, Big John Rocky.
Yeah, who was a great guy.
He's honestly one of my favorite human beings.
Yeah. And so he let me ride Roy. And when Russ said, don't take your eye off the cow, I didn't know he meant do not, under any circumstance, take your eye off the cow. So I got on the horse. I took a look, took a little glance at the cow, and next thing I know, my feet are out of the stirrups. My hat comes off. I'm holding on to the horse's neck, and I was like, "Can we try that again?" And Russ brought me along. So that's all I know about cutting. Is I've been with Russ Westfall, and now Brandon, because he's an open rider. And
yes, sir.
So I got Brandon, and learned so much about horses just walking through the barn with Janet, with Miss Janet, and I followed Russ down to Texas. Yeah.
Well, they're definitely a brilliant family. I'm very close with all of them. Yeah. I consider myself part of their family, really. Yeah. They've helped me and my wife tremendously, and I love getting. I try to buy any horse I can from them. Yeah. So I love their program. So what has it been like in the 10 years? Actually, I want to back it on up. Like growing up, were you around horses as a young kid, or just like those horses you were talking about?
Just a little bit.
So your love for horses really didn't come till the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I had some love for him, but I didn't know where I could go to learn the things that you guys all do, you cowboys do. I knew there was so much to learn, and, it's not easy back east finding people that know how to do that. Even though the oldest rodeo in the country is in New Jersey, Cowtown. Right. But I got out here, and, Russ used to take me to shows, and I would ride Roy in the practice pen, and you guys are so busy during the show, and he would make time to come over and give me a couple of turns on a flag, and I'd lope in the practice pen, which in the beginning is kind of intimidating. Everybody
absolutely
how all this works, and he brought me along from there.
That's really neat. And now, from not having any cutting horses, now you got quite a few, don't you?
I have some string. Yeah,
and a good string,
a really good string. And Russ put them together, and it's been just an amazing adventure.
That is so awesome. Well, so you grew up in New Jersey,
yeah.
And what did you do, like out of high school, like out of school?
You mean when I wasn't in trouble?
Yeah, yeah.
That didn't happen
or we
a lot.
can even talk about the trouble. Yeah, I want to hear it all, man. I got nothing but time.
I remember God only knows what I had done at this point in time, but I came home. My father says, I found a school in Maine. I was like, Maine? He goes, yeah, I couldn't find one in Alaska.
He was ready to send you out of there.
Yeah.
So when did all the trouble start? At an early age?
Yeah, I think now looking back, the trouble was brewing. And then I guess I was around 12 or 13, and I was at a family party, and there was something in a blender, and it was sweet and sour, and it felt good. I got drunk, got sick, fell in love, got my heart broke. Woke up with shame and guilt. Couldn't wait to do it again. There was kind of no way I was going to go back to living without that magic elixir I had found. And alcohol and drugs, I think they were the cure for what I felt was wrong with me. And then it stopped working, and then there were consequences. Very early age, lots of consequences.
So like we're talking 14, 15 years old.
Oh, yeah. 15, 16. A couple was driving home from a party, and they happened to be first responders. And I was laying in the middle of the road with my ribs through my lungs, drowned. And in my own blood, and they almost ran me over. Drunk. Most of my stories that end like that started with I was drunk.
Wow. So were you driving or had a wreck or something?
I was driving and had a wreck and didn't have a driver's license.
And just
technicality.
And a godsend that the two people that stumble upon you are first responders.
God intervened an awful lot for a long time before I figured out it was him. And
he kept knocking.
April 8th, 1985, I had my last drink, my last drug.
In 85?
Yeah, April 8th, 1985. Yeah.
That's coming up.
41 years next month.
That's longer than I've been alive, Joey. I'm proud of you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, so now, to tell a little backstory, this winter, after the fraternity, my wife wanted to go to New York, and she's always wanted to go, so we decided to go. Well, Joey, it was unbelievable how he opened up his hand and helped us get, he's from up there, and we get up there and we went to his place first. And I would like to talk a little bit about what you got going on there.
At the farm?
At the farm. Yeah. From where you were with drugs and alcohol and all that, how did you climb out of all that?
Well, I work a program of recovery.
Yes.
And prayer and meditation have a big part in that, seeking conscious contact with God. And that has developed over the years. And now that I live here in Texas, and some of the people I've met and, the churches I attend now here, it has a different meaning than it did then. But as a 67-year-old, 41 year sober, man, my relationship with the Lord and church and God is very different than it was then. But I was seeking. But at 20 years, so I was told early on, if you pray and ask for God to remove the obsession to use drugs and alcohol, that it could work. And I did, and it did. So for 20 years, I had a really good run of sobriety. I was no longer in trouble. The consequences, had left. And my brother and I, we worked in construction. And I grew up in construction. My father had a little construction company. And, I was such a troubled kid that's where you left me, was with the construction work. That's who raised me, were the guys, the hard hats. And
yes, sir.
So I was comfortable in that world. And so my brother and I ended up buying the company and having, some success. And I got away from that humility and that seeking of contact with God, seeking a relationship with the Lord, and I was seeking success and other things. And at 20 years of sobriety, living in Manhattan, the phenomenon of craving, the obsession to drink came back. I didn't drink, but I did get back on my knees, and, I said, hey, one more time, please. I really, this time, you know what I mean? Like, God, this time I really will not take this for granted. Like, please take this thing away from me. I could walk by a bar and knew what it smelled like. I could tell who was selling drugs on the street. If there was an ad of alcohol, I remembered what Jack Daniels tasted like. That was your drink. Yeah. I mean, other kids had sports teams. I had Jack Daniels. Like, if you went in their room, they had posters of the teams that they did and the sports that they liked. You went in my room, there was the wrapper. If you heated them up, you could take with soapy water, you could take the labels off and put them on your wall. So I had Jack Daniels. Yeah. So 20 years of sobriety, the phenomenon of craving came back, and I was living in Manhattan, and I got back on my knees, and I was like, I promise this time I will not take this for granted. Please, one more time. And it was. I moved out of the city. My brother and I had inherited a farm that was in kind of disrepair in New Jersey, and I lived there when I was young, and so I just dove into that and worked with. There were some young people in my life who were in sobriety, so they would come and work on the farm on the weekends to make some money, and so Nick brought Frank brought Sam brought Max. So all of a sudden I had all these guys, and we started, we'd start in the morning with prayer and meditation, and then we'd go to work, and 500 acres, 14 buildings in 20 years, and we built it back. And it was kind of like, if you stayed long enough, you would leave with the wreckage of your past cleaned up, an old pickup truck with new brakes, and a job in one of the construction companies, because the business had continued to grow and we'd gotten into all different stuff.
You always needed help.
Yeah. And, a good construction job, well-paying, healthcare, opportunity for advancement.
Great job.
Really worked well for these kids. And the concept was, if these young people had the exact same opportunities I had, would the outcome be the same? And it was still fresh in my mind that the obsession to drink and drug had come back and had been relieved the second time from me. So I have not taken that one for granted ever since then. I figured God's busy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to take a chance that I could have a third go at this thing. I'm very happy he gave me 2 shots. I haven't had a drink, a drug, nothing in 41 years. 41 years, April 8th it'll be. As long as I don't
41
drink.
years.
Yeah, between now and April 8th.
Yeah, you'll be good. You got good company.
I got good company.
Yeah.
I got good sober guys. And I get to do this thing, with you guys. That's unbelievable.
Well, and
these cutting horses.
It is unbelievable. And what's even more unbelievable, how many people have gone through your program there at the farm?
A lot. Dozens and dozens.
I mean, when we were there, some of the people that we met that were still there working, for you, it was pretty incredible. You could tell you'd changed their lives.
Yeah, the
one family that was there really struck me.
Yeah, we got a bunch. They come back, and I never had any kids of my own, so I've been blessed with,
lots of others.
Yeah, and I've got Remy. I don't know if you got to meet
absolutely,
Remy, and she came into my life when she was 2. I dated her mom,
and that's Gigi's. No, that's
Remy is. I dated her mom when she was a baby. Right. And I raised her. She came back when she was 13 and said,
that's right. I remember you telling us she came back.
And she works with, she's a PATH certified riding instructor, and she works with autistic kids and kids with physical and emotional disabilities.
Wow.
And she's sober too, so. And her and her partner, yeah.
And she's serving, basically.
Very much. Very much. She's a really good kid. I'm really proud of her.
Man, that's incredible. So, talk a little bit about what is Jingoli Nuclear? It's something to do with that's so outside of the world for me, but something to do with energy, correct? And that was one of your businesses?
It still is. That one's growing. So we work in the energy sector. We design, build, own, and operate power plants. We're in the high voltage transmission part of it. We are in electrical testing, and we're in nuclear power. It's called we do maintenance mods. We work in the plants, and we provide rad techs, and that business is growing, as you could imagine, in today's world pretty quickly.
And that's what your nephew, I believe, is that what he's kind of?
Yeah, we're selling off different divisions of the company and forming a family office, and so he'll run that.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we have these young men and women who now run the different companies, and I get to kind of sit back and watch it a little bit.
So you kind of sit back on the board and check it all out.
Yeah.
So that's so neat. So through your programs, y'all have employed so many people that you've also helped in your program. How did those people find you? You know, for just their past and having trouble, or?
Yeah, through people.
Just word of mouth.
Either in 12-step programs or through any of the faith-based stuff with, somebody say, hey, listen, we got somebody who could really use it. We're pretty much old school, straight edge, like this is you are sober and you work hard.
Right. And I love that. I think that's important in today's world because so much of it is the opposite of that.
Yeah. And it was kind of my story. So we replicate that. Maybe about 10 years ago, so we formed a foundation, and a group of the young people. The chairman of the foundation is one of the young guys, the first guy to come to the farm, Nick Teaches. He's the chairman. My nephew's on the board, my niece, and they give out grants for people who want to be sober, and continuing education, continuing care, early recovery stuff, wreckage of the past, and programs where we get young people involved in healthy activities that maybe keep them from that potentially happening, which is why the farm team is one of the sponsors of Horsemen for Christ Camp with Joe Howard. And
that's so awesome. Yeah. So let talk about that you do what you do, and then coming to something like we do with the Horsemen for Christ Camp, and how important that is maybe for the listeners that are wondering of a camp to send their kids or even themselves to come.
It's a great, the greatest trainers in the world are volunteering. The kids are great. And, Joe Howard in Denver run, such a wonderful program. I moved to Texas. I followed Russ down here. And so I moved to Texas. I live in Weatherford. I'm one of those transplants. And I'm grateful to be here. I try not to create any more traffic or anything. And but I was in Graham maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, and somebody did the prayer, before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, which I really enjoy. And I didn't know who it was, but I really liked the prayer, and then couple of weeks later, we're at the Coliseum, and I hear the same voice, and I go over, and it was Joe Howard, and then so I started going to Horsemen for Christ Church
Sunday services
before horse shows.
That's where me and you met.
That's where we met, and then between shows, I didn't go to church, and I was like, well, I missed that. And so I asked Joe Howard and Randy, and so I go to Greenwood on Sundays.
Yeah, that's where we go. We love Greenwood.
Yeah. How about how young the congregation is and vibrant
and on fire?
On fire.
Yeah, there's something about that church that is very inviting. But I also like Brian Bond, and when I first moved here, we used to actually have a Bible study. There was have you ever met Robert Rust?
I don't think so.
He won the world. He's a great trainer. But he's been retired for several years, but him and Bronk Willoughby and Brian Bond and, maybe it was Randy then. I don't remember. This is back when I didn't hardly even know anybody, but we had a Bible study, and Brian Bond, believe it or not, he used to rope. And when I moved down here, I roped a lot. Well, I'd see Brian Bond at them ropings. And ever since then, we've gone to his church. And it's amazing to me, even all the other pastors that speak there are just amazing. Their message is great.
Yeah, prayer has changed a lot for me. It means more now than it ever did. And I think I'm putting more energy and effort into my conscious contact with the Lord, with God, and it's made a big difference in my life. I haven't forgotten that 20 years ago, got on my knees in New York and said, God, please, one more time, please do not take me back there. In April 8th, 1985, I figured I was going to die in a motel room. And that was how the story was going to end. And I've had this incredible adventure of a life.
Since then.
It's unbelievable.
Since you got on your knees.
Yeah.
And turned it all over to him.
Yeah.
Well, that's so inspiring to hear, because I know I've been down the wrong road far enough down it to know that I don't want to go down that road. So I know I've been, along with several of my friends, been trying to grow spiritually like that, and praying more consistently. And I do know that prayer works. So I love hearing you say that, because I know now that I pray every day or try to get in the Word, it makes a huge difference in my life.
That morning devotional, that couple of minutes in the morning, just getting right with God, it changes my whole day. And what I always wonder is, if a few minutes in the morning can make your whole day better, why do we forget to do it? You think that would be the first thing you'd think of, but it's not. It's something I have to work at.
Do you think that's just human nature and kind of where the world is today? Or I mean, what do you think on that? Because I agree with you. I think it's easy to not connect and not give that time. Especially in our lives. And like you said earlier, something about, y'all had been fortunate with some businesses and stuff, but you were going about it for the success. Not talk a little bit about that, because it's, to me, where I'm at in my life, it's easy to want to strive for more success and success and success, when really that's not why we're here.
When I talk to young people and, who are in early recovery or looking to get away from, drugs and alcohol, I talk about, if you just leave me alone, if I do nothing, gravity takes me towards what's not good for me. Is that darkness? Is that the devil? Is that whatever it is unhealthy behavior. And I have to work. And it's not like a lot of work. I have to put some energy and effort into conscious contact through prayer, meditation, going to church, talking to friends, being with the right people to feel good about myself and feel healthy. And, so I think that same voice that says it's more important to get more can also sound like, why not have a drink? I think they're the same voice. And the other one I have to work to hear, which is do healthy things, be a good person, stay away from drugs and alcohol and dangerous things in dangerous places.
Right.
That takes work. And it's so much more rewarding, right? Like you think about the life we have. Oh,
we're so blessed. It is unbelievable. Well, and to the forgiveness of our sins, that to me's taken a long time for me to forgive myself, not to mention other people, but boy, when you can and you feel his forgiveness, it's unbelievable.
That freedom, I think that same thing that I was looking for in drugs and alcohol, I found so much more rewarding in that other work. It's a big deal.
Well, and two, you can't cure somebody who ain't sick. So,
yeah,
I love it. I think that it's harder too. Like the more I'm in the Word and the cleaner I am, and boy, the right path I'm on, I see a lot more temptation on this road than I did on this other road.
Yeah,
do you think there's something to that?
If you're wearing a white suit, a spot of mud sticks out. If you're rolling around in the dirt, you don't see it. You don't even know you're in it. It's like
That's
a fish doesn't know it's in water, And for me, I got to make sure I stay out of that.
Yes, sir. I agree. Me too.
Yeah. Yep. How about the other morning? I had the most fun at that branding. That morning it was so cold and I saw you.
I was hoping you brought this up because I was going to if not. Yeah. And I love that you get to go experience stuff like that, because so many people, that's how I grew up. So, yes, I love to do it. I would move back and do it every day if I could. But getting to do that morning with you, I had such a good time. And when we showed up, of course, Russ Westfall, this is just back because he worked for Buster Welch. This is something Buster Welch would have done. Waited till it was 10 below zero, the coldest day of the year, and decide we're going to brand.
Well, and I'm on Team Westfall, so I follow direction, not all the time, but most of the time. So, cowboy hat.
Yes, sir.
Western,
we're cowboys.
It's freezing cold, and I show up, and you've got a ski beanie on, and I'm like, oh, that looks so warm. I was like, didn't you get the memo? You're like, Western Horseman's not going to be there, Joey.
Yeah, I said, listen, ain't nobody. I said, what did I say? I said, Russ and Janet were on the cover last month. I said, they're not going to be here this month. Oh, that's awesome. And then the best part was everybody's giving me a hard time for having my beanie. And then how about Boyd Rice showing up just a little late and he come loping across that
with
field.
The beanie on.
And you rode up to me and you said, that sure don't look like a cowboy hat. If Boyd Rice ain't wearing a cowboy hat, I promise you I ain't. It was cold.
Oh man, it's unbelievable, and that we get. That I at 67 years old can live here and ride with all of you and have this opportunity. It's unbelievable. I had a big love for horses most of my life. I never knew where I could go. I knew there was more to learn. And I get around all you folks, and it was just there are these moments that happen, and especially when I was coming up and first starting a show, I would be in, a later show, and one of you open riders would come by and go, hey, Joe, at that last show, that second set, the roan horse you were on, that third cow, you're looking like you're getting it. And I'm thinking, how could you, you guys work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're all over the place. You must have seen a million horses and dozens of clients, and you remember that. I was like, I got to buckle down here. This is a real gift. This is a real gift.
Well, and that's cool to hear from you because these horses are a true gift. And I've always thought that. And they can change lives, like you said. I mean, shout out to Mr. David Anderson for putting you on a cutting horse.
Yeah. Yeah, he's down visiting me from Canada. He's down checking my progress.
He is.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We all need somebody to be checking in on us.
Yeah.
Yep, that's so important. It's important to have a good circle. And I love the circle that you're in. And I love that I kind of get to be in your circle. I know you're sure one of my mentors, somebody that I look up to, and after seeing some of the things that you've done, like when we went on that trip to New York, that was so inspirational to me. I know it was RL as well. I mean, just to see how much joy the people around you had, and it's all because what I got off of it is we're here to help, and to me, like, everybody there was willing to help. Everybody was helping everybody, and whether that's spiritually or needing to get off drugs or alcohol, or hey, just bringing some firewood up because it's cold and there was ice on the ponds.
Yeah. As a young man, I was like, wow, would I ever be able to have fun again? How would I enjoy myself without drugs and alcohol? And I've had this adventure. I wouldn't even know where to start, and look where I am now. You know,
going all over the country.
All over the country. I went with Brandon. I was at last. God, it was a year ago, right around now. I was at work with my brother, and he's like, "Why are you here?" Because you're like coming up on 40 years of sobriety, or the time I was 66 years. You can do whatever you want. I was like, just go do it. So I called Brandon up. I'm like, hey, we're going up to Bill Lacey's, right? What are your plans after that? He's like, well, I think I'm going to go to Idaho, and then I think I'm going to go up to. I'm like,
throw my horses in.
And for 6 weeks,
y'all hit the road.
We hit the road. It was fantastic, and that's where my showing got a lot better.
Oh, absolutely. So you went y'all were showing several times a week at that point.
Oh yeah, we were up at Bill Lacey's with the young ones, and then
in Colorado,
which is
amazing. Let's talk about that.
Unbelievable
to work futurity horses up there when it's hot here. What was the weather like?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was cool. I have another Russ story if I can.
Hey, I've been waiting for some Russ stories.
Oh, so I got this Kit Kat Sugar. He's my practice horse, and sort of cowboy horse. And we're up there in the mornings. You go out and gather up on these big fields, and you're jumping the ditches and
little creeks,
and you're gathering up and you're going around. So my horse sometimes wasn't behaving great. All those guys, their horses are like perfect, and so I'm a little embarrassed. And so I get up real early in the morning the next day, and I get to the ranch, and I'm gonna do all the stuff that Russ has been teaching me for 10 years. So I'm turning him around, I'm pulling on him, I'm getting him. He's good. We go out and cowboy, and my horse is like dead on perfect. So at the end of the gather, when we're getting ready to practice, I trot up, and the cowboys are all kind of. Chavo was there, and Bill Lacey, and like the whole crew. And I trot up, bang! I hit a stop, and I look over and I look at Russ. I said, "I laid some cowboy stuff on this thing this morning. I got this." And Russ looks at me, he goes, "Yeah, that hit an ace I gave him this morning didn't hurt either." I was like, oh man, I had my head down. The other guys, they weren't even laughing. They go, Russ, you could have kept that one.
He just couldn't keep it in, could he? He said that little bit of ace I give him didn't hurt him at all either. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
He was perfect that day.
He was perfect. I thought I cowboyed up on him.
Dadgum Russ. That's good. He was looking out for you, though.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Look, he taught me everything, so I'm having a great time.
So
it's amazing.
When y'all were there, where did y'all went from Idaho to there, which is an awesome show?
We were at Lacey's at Bill's, and then we went to Idaho, and then we went to Oregon.
Which I love Oregon. Oregon's one of my favorite shows.
So I got another Russ. If I do one more Russ story.
You can do 10 more, man.
So I'm with Brandon, and we're 6 weeks into this trip, right? So by now we're on each other's nerves a little bit, and I have a go, and everything went wrong. Here's how bad it was. I walk out, and this old cowboy's sitting on a fence, and he says, "You shouldn't add speed to confusion." So I walk out, and I'm mad by now. Brandon, he's smoked. He comes up, he goes, "That's it. You're watching your video." I don't like to watch the videos that I do bad on. So
right.
He goes, you're going to go watch your video. I go, I'm not watching that video. I'm like 67 years old, and I'm doing this for fun. And why would I watch that stupid thing? I just want to put it behind me. So I walk out, and my phone rings. It's Russ. Go watch your video. Brandon's over on the other side on the phone laughing at me. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I guess I'll go watch it. I love that. That's
Which
awesome.
Is where you learn. I get that's where I.
Well, it's the only way is to fail.
I know, but watching those videos when you do terrible, oh my God, it's difficult. It's like, oh God, that looked horrible.
I hate watching videos too.
Your sword fighting come.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
But we've all done it. I mean, even us today, I promise you that we do stupid stuff all the time. I think the adrenaline and Paul Hansma said it best. He said, you got to fake it. He said, everybody says, Paul, how are you so confident all the time? And he said, I'm not. My heart's just, he said, you could almost hear it. My spur, he said, it's just a rattling. So to hear somebody like Paul Hansma has them same nerves is pretty cool.
It's one of the things that I really enjoy watching is how this is your career. This is how you guys make a living and how you all help each other. I mean, you're in competition with each other, but how much you help each other. And, I'll watch Brandon have a horse and he'll take it over to Colt, and say, what do you think? Or vice versa. And, and these young guys are just amazing young men, and, they're competing to make a living, and they're all working together. Lance, the whole group of young men.
Yeah, there's a whole group of them.
They're solid. Cade.
Cade, Gavin, Lance.
Yeah. And they all work together. They're friends and they're competitors, and it's
yeah, even the whole NCHA as a whole, there are different groups, but it's cool how all them different groups come together when it comes down to horse training or getting help. And honestly, as a family, NCHA family, me and Randy Chartier the other day were talking about how crazy it is when somebody in our industry, something comes up and we need to raise some money or something to help them. It's amazing how quick and giving our industry can be.
There's a priest in LA who works with gang members, and it's called Homeboy Networks, and he takes violent gang members and they work. He has a book called Tattoos of the Heart, and they work together. And one of the things that he says is when you work together, you are much more likely to find what you have in common than what you have, different. And that's really true. When I look back to my days, working in construction, and I think the harder the work and the more dangerous it is, the more you try to find what you have in common than where you differ. And I see that a lot with you guys,
I've never heard it put that way, but that's brilliant, really.
And a whole bunch of you, most, have a spiritual direction, and that those things together, I think, come out in the experience.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's the Western way of life,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
God first. And, a bunch of us were raised that way. We might have strayed for a minute, but as Clay put it the other day, we all buck and played for a while. But
I about a year ago, I had a health issue that was scary, and I ended up in the emergency room, and they were going to have to give me drugs, and they had to operate, and I gave Barney Mac Smith a call. I said, "Listen, kid, they got me in here, and I haven't had any of this stuff in a very long time. Need somebody to come sit on me." And I gave Joe Howard a call, and you always call the preacher when you're scared.
Yes, sir.
And a while later, I was better, and Joe called. He said, "How you feeling?" Joe Howard called. I said, I must be doing better because I forgot to call you this morning." Think about that. The first thing we forget? Get in trouble, you go to God. Things are all going good. Think it's me. Yeah. Lots of lessons in life,
That's strong right there.
Yeah.
And boy, Barney Mac, he's done amazing. I love
kid.
to see the transformation
Yeah, he's
done
kid.
there.
And has very light spirit. He's a young man with a light spirit. It's nice to see.
Yes, sir. Well, and he's always been a great friend to us, but to see him now is, man, it's strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's an incredible life. It's I try to stay present and aware enough that in the mornings when I get to throw a leg over a horse, I'm like, oh my God, he lets me on his back.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. Like one of God's creatures like stands there and lets me throw a leg over him and go out and,
explore his creation.
Follow Russ or Brandon wherever they're going, Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what I loved about growing up, cowboying and what really made me love being a cowboy was seeing new country. There was, I think that's one weakness in a cowboy is we're always seeing new country, and man, God's creation outside the city is so amazing. It truly is, but it's also amazing to see in the city too.
I had this experience. This was last winter, I think it was. Right before the sun comes up, the temperature drops. So it was dark, and I was with Russ, and we were going across this big field, and it was kind of dewy, looking for a mama and a baby that had gotten loose and was out there somewhere. So we're out searching around, and just as the sun came up, the temperature dropped, a few degrees, and the whole field went to frost. Like that movie, the kids' movie, it was just like that. I was like, holy mackerel.
Well, that's something you'll never forget,
too.
The
sun's coming up, and like the whole field just sitting on a horse.
See your horse's breath.
Yeah.
Them are the best mornings.
Mama cow jumped in the lake, baby followed it, and they're swimming across. I'm looking over at Russ, and I'm going, man, I hope cowboys don't swim.
Them dang tiger stripes.
That's the
I know. He loves them tiger stripes. Them
I was like, I hope we don't have to go in the lake,
Them black cows, all they do is create gentle horses.
Yeah, exactly.
And Russ was telling you to slow down last week.
Yeah. Yep.
Russ, he does got a heck of a set of cattle.
Oh, they're great. They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. I would want them now. Absolutely.
Oh, can you think about what's going on with cows now?
Yeah.
Man?
He needs to buy us dinner tonight. Speaking of that, I bet we could get him to cook us a steak. I don't know. I'd rather have Miss Janet cook.
Russ can cook. Russ can grill. He can grill.
He can, but I tell you what, one time we ate over there, Miss Janet, I'm pretty sure it was chicken fried steak that she done. And I almost stayed there on their couch. My wife said it'd be rude. I almost fell asleep on their couch.
Asleep on the couch over in the cantina. I every once in a while, like if she's not too busy and she's walking through the barn, I'll follow her and say, what do you see? Like, what do you, because she just walks through the barn and sees everything. She's like, okay, you see that horse on the walker? You see there, right? See how his stomach muscles tweaking a little. He's been walked enough. It's time to take him off. And she just goes right through, who's eating right, what's going on, blankets done right, the whole thing.
So that's got to be amazing to you for somebody who is searching to learn.
Yeah.
To be surrounded by some of the greatest horsemen and women that will ever live, because they are. You don't get that many championships and have that many horses that have done what they've done without being true horsemen, in my opinion. And man, you just pull up to their place and like you said, just walking through the barn, you can tell that these horses are taken care of.
Oh God, yeah. Just the health and the way my horses have held together, and the ones that Russ has picked out for me. It's just been a gift. One of the things that I really enjoy about this, and it's a real lesson in life, is all of you cowboys, if you ask, you guys will always offer sage advice. And it's something for us amateurs and customers to know that. Ask.
Yeah, don't be scared to ask.
Don't be afraid to ask. 'Cause that's how you learn. it's easier now at like 67. Like I'm an old guy. Like it's easy to ask, it's like,
You're like, I don't care what you think.
I don't care anymore.
And you know what? I want to know.
When you're young, it's like, you think you're supposed to know everything. But I get some great advice and great lessons.
Well, that's what's inspiring to me through guys like y'all is how open y'all are with us to saying, hey, we generally, we want to learn this. We want to get better because you're right. Like, I know my biggest problem is I always think I know, or I am supposed to know.
Supposed to know. Yeah.
And you're not. It's so true. Like, I love looking at y'all, and y'all are searching for new things and enjoying it while you're doing it. Like, it's fun to see y'all two get out of the truck a while ago, laughing. I don't know what y'all were talking about, but just two buds having a good time. That means a lot. Well, it's good for the outside people to see. I truly think.
What we do with horses and each other is a great stuff to carry, life lessons into the other parts of our life. Everything from, kind of like, how we approach a horse, right? You just don't like go marching in and, how you approach a horse is kind of like how you should be backing up a pickup truck, right? So you don't run something over, thoughtful, slowly, mindful. All that stuff from the barn carries through to life. We have a thing in our one business. We work in substations. That's those big electrical things that you see.
That run the cities or whatever.
1 mile an hour. That's it. You back up, it's 1 mile an hour. You go over that, you're done, you're off the job. And because what we know is you're less likely to
have a problem or a wreck or cause a problem.
Yeah.
Or hurt yourself at them deals, because I would think that's dangerous.
Yep. And it's the same thing on like what you teach us amateurs about how to approach our horse, how to get it saddled up. Like what we do is to keep us out of a wreck, and you and everybody else around us and the help,
Right.
There's like a whole lot of life lessons in this deal that carry on to the rest of the day.
Well, and I tell you what, I wish everybody was as open to that as you are, because that's how you truly learn, is from the very start of it. And that's walking up to the horse, your approach.
Yeah.
And I've always said that they can feel your vibe, so that's cool. I love that you know that.
I wish I would have had these opportunities at a much younger age, but I don't know if they would mean as much or I'd be able to savor them as much as I do now.
Well, and two, it wasn't part of the journey yet.
No. But I learned a lot more from my losses than I ever did from my wins. But you try to avoid losses, but that's where we gain all of our knowledge.
Is the process.
Yeah.
Learning to love the process. And
yeah, whether it's cool in the pen or on the street, it's the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Man, that's huge. What if there was one saying that you could leave the world with or tell the audience, whether it be scripture or something uplifting or just something what's Joey Jingoli want to leave the world with? And you don't have to rush into it. I got good editors. We can take a coffee break. This is what's cool about this show.
No, I think be amazed. Be amazed every day. Be amazed that we're on this earth, that we get to live the life that we live, and just take your time and savor it. Because whatever you're doing will never happen again. That moment in time will never be repeated. So slow down and enjoy it. And that's a message I need to remind myself.
We all do. It's a great message.
Yeah.
Slow down and open your eyes. That's cool.
But it's still fun to go fast on a horse. I got, you know, I
do got to add in here, Russ. I promise by the end of this, I'm going to talk him back down and I'm going to slow him down before he heads back up to Cowtown.
Oh, yeah. I got a lecture the other day. We're in this to win. We're not in this to have fun. I'm like, having so much fun.
You can have fun tomorrow. But today we're going to be thoughtful.
Yep.
I love that. But that's so true, too. It's like you said, we learn through the process, and in life, we're always going too fast. And in the show pen, boy, some of our best runs, you feel like you're not doing near as much as you think you need to be doing. And then whenever you think you're doing a lot, boy, here comes that 208 popping up.
Oh, yeah. And you get to watch that video, and it's like, oh, my God, what was I thinking? It looked terrible.
Russ gonna pat you in the chest again.
Oh, yeah.
See, slow down.
Slow down.
I don't know. On that roan gelding, he looks like if you get in the center of a cow.
Cody, I had out there and I cut that cow and I squeezed, and we come across. That's the same one I almost came off at the. I
remember.
bath.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I remember.
I couldn't imagine. He was real sweaty. I had my hand down and he hit the brakes. My hand slipped off his neck, and I almost lawn darted. I came up, and the horse is looking over at the cow. The cow's looking at the horse. Cow goes, horse goes, rider goes. So, we finished the run. I made it back on that run.
I remember. It was incredible.
Walking out, Don says to me, he said, "You're really flexible, Joey."
That was a good move, Joey.
You see the video, it's like I'm lawn darting how I came back up. Unbelievable.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. He's been great, and I know how busy he is. He always, comes in to try to help me out.
Well, I know he loves you. Me and him had lots of talks about you and how much you've helped him in life too. And I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's been a great adventure.
Well, just everybody that we're connected with, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Great
fellowship, which I'm big on that too. Who you surround yourself is.
And Clay, just getting a smile. Clay Johnson, he walks by you and you get a smile. It's just get a chuckle.
It can literally change somebody's day.
Yeah.
Running into Clay Johnson first thing in the morning. I've seen him do it for years. In the practice pen.
Wear life loosely, right?
Wear life loosely. Put that on a t-shirt, Josh. That's sweet. That's a good saying. Wear life loosely. And he does now too.
Yeah. I heard his, before we came in, David and I were listening to his podcast and about his journey, and my journey was very similar, right? I had my first overdose at 15. I got pretty close to beaten to death at 16. Totaled the car and was saved by two people driving home. They both happened to be, first responders. Vent at my chest, took me in the hospital, came out, totaled another family car. I mean, I was a nightmare. If I wasn't right in front of you, I was up to no good. Period.
Wow.
I got clean and sober at 26.
That's pretty amazing. And so many people, that's what's so cool about this is so many people are so scared of people knowing their past. And to me, it's just, it's no different than us in the cutting, right? The only way you get better is to fail and to learn about your failures. And there's so many people that can probably relate to your childhood that this can save.
And the further behind you it gets, and the more you're living a clean life, the less it all matters, It's so much easier to talk about. But when it's new and fresh, shame.
It's hard to.
Shame's a big deal, right?
Absolutely. Well, and that's what's so awesome about Clay now is because I grew up, idolizing him. So I seen and participated in a lot of the bad,
Uh-huh.
But he's part of what brought me out of it, because I saw the guy that used to not be that guy say, sorry guys, it's not for me no more.
I try to pass this on to young people who are quitting, or anybody who really decides that they want to put the cork in the bottle. And I don't think in almost 41 years I've ever said, somebody said, you want to drink? And I go, I don't drink. Full stop. Nobody's ever asked twice.
That's
I think it's when you're done, the way you say it, No, I don't drink. Because if you're a little bit wishy-washy, well, I'm kind of on the way, no, I don't drink.
And you end up drinking.
It opens the door,
That's right.
But it's full stop, one sentence statement. I don't drink. Never. Nope.
Don't want it.
You don't want me to either.
Yeah. I don't want it. Neither do you.
I don't know what it looks like at 67, but I know from early teen years to the 20s, it didn't end well for anybody around me. Me, them, the car, what truck, whatever there was, it got wrecked.
That's cool now though that it's gone. That you can say no.
Yeah, it's gone. It's I haven't forgotten though that it's gone by the grace of God.
Forgive, but never forget.
No.
But also, that's probably what keeps you on the straight and narrow there. Because I'm sure there is still temptation, or has there been?
Not since that day.
Really?
I said, one more time, please.
You just prayed it.
I know you're busy. The world's a busy place. I knew I squandered it a little bit here.
That's the power of prayer, though.
It's huge. It's huge. Hasn't come back. But I don't mess with, I work a program. I pray, that was...
You stay sharp yourself.
Yeah.
You help yourself.
From 26 to, in my late 40s, early 50s, I think I took it for granted sometimes that I was sober and, that whatever my brother and I were doing was always going to be successful. And then, I had a whole bunch of stuff going the other direction. And then the thought of a drink, the thought of, just getting to disappear for a little while came up, and it took it took a couple weeks to get back, put away, but I don't forget it.
You stayed tough.
I'm very happy. God, just tell me you tell me.
Just show me the way.
100%. 100%.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
And I truly do think that this message is going to reach somebody, and I hope it touches somebody. And listen, if you are out there listening and struggling with something like this, hit us up.
Call
at
us.
The shows. I can dang sure introduce you to Joey. I may not can help you, but I know the guys that can.
There's a lot of us that
it's
have
amazing.
chosen a different way of life, and you just look and you can tell. It's the country western song played backwards, right? You got a new truck, the girl stayed, the dog lived, you got a better job. It's your choice. You can play that thing forward or backwards.
That's true, though.
It's true. Look in the parking lot. You can tell who's sober. You look at the trucks.
You can. I agree. That's great. I've never thought of it like that, but that's great.
Yeah.